Now everybody sing that shit.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Tay Pancakes, aka Taylor Teams, aka Tay. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you have been here before, welcome back. So, as y'all read from the title, we are coming back with another story time, as y'all love, as y'all know. But there's a little twist we are going to add to the story time today, and we are going to do a high story time. I've never done that before. I've done high making cookies. Have I done a high story time? I don't know. Either way, we're going to do a high story time, and today's video is going to be sponsored by Mood. As I said in my last sponsored Mood video, Mood is a Delta 8, Delta 9 company. Delta 8 and Delta 9 products are completely legal, so you have a stress-free, anxiety-free high. Most people who use Delta 8 report a clear, anxiety-free high versus typical weed products. I have used Mood for a while now. They were wonderful enough to gift me some products. So we have some gummies, edibles. These are fast-acting gummy edibles. They're supposed to work in like 10 to 15 minutes or something like that. Crazy, because y'all know edibles usually take about an hour or so to kick in. They also provided me with some pre-rolls, baby, which is what we're going to be getting into today. Some orange glaze pre-roll, a pink panther pre-roll, and I think I'm going to do the blueberry one because the Mood is supposed to be energetic, and I need some energy to tell y'all this tea, to tell y'all this spill. So I'm going to go off camera, and I am going to partake in this because y'all know if I smoke this on camera, it's gonna get demonetized. But I do have to tell y'all, same as last time, y'all can use the coupon code in my description box to get y'all a free pack of Delta 9 gummies. I've also provided a code in the description that offers you 20% off of your whole purchase. The coupon code for the gummies is TAYCAKESGUMMY, and the coupon code for 20% off is TAYCAKES20. So yeah, y'all let me know how that goes, and in the meantime, I'm going to do what I do, and I'll be back when I'm done what I'm done. I'm back. Okay, wait, I gotta tell you something. So first of all, I will say I use some eye drops, right? After I had smoked and I used them eye drops, I was scrolling on TikTok for a little bit, y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. I saw a post on TikTok that it's some like virus or something going around in eye drops. And it's not my high brain, like I swear, like look it up. And it got me scared, but I'm like, okay, I used the eye drops before and there's no problem. So girl, what do you, like, what did the virus jump in there? You know, no.
What?
Let's get into this story time, boo-boo. And while I'm doing the story time, I'm doing a lot while high. So while I'm doing the story time, I'm going to do my makeup too. I will say this, how I do feel different. Like, I don't typically smoke sativa, and I think this is sativa because like sativa versus indica, like you'll smoke indica and you'll feel like heavy, like, and I don't really feel like that. So story time about how I dated my boyfriend's father. Yes, you read that title right, boo boo, you read it right. So I have a lot of dating stories. Y'all probably like, this girl crazy, like does she really be going through all this? So obviously I'm in a relationship now, but let me tell y'all something. When I was single, I was on Tinder, I was dating niggas, like I was having fun. So I already did my eyebrows, kinda. I tried. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the time I was dating this boy, and it wasn't my boyfriend. The boyfriend was clickbait. He was my boo thing though, like real heavy. Like that was my boo boo. Yeah, that was my boo. Like he was this boy, he was like a year younger than me. He had a crush on me and I finally gave him a chance. When I gave him a chance, it was a good time. Like that was my boo. He was cool. He was like this two peas in a pod. So me and him were good together, but we was toxic too. Like, I mean, what made us toxic? A lot of things. Like he was messing with other girls all the time. And it's not really toxic because we weren't in a relationship, but we act like we was in a relationship. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like giving very much situationship. So at the time I was working at a jewelry store. If anybody knows me, they know that I used to work at K Jewelers. Like I was selling diamond rings, engagement rings. Like that's why when a nigga marries me, I mean wants to propose to me, he has to come correct because I know about my diamonds. Like come on. I used to work at K Jewelers, and that was the job I had at the time when I was dating my little toxic bae. Me and toxic bae at the time were probably talking for a good like 6 months. I can't think. We were dating for like 6 months, and things were going good. So even though we was dating for 6 months, I was still messing with other people, because at the end of the day, you're not my boyfriend. You didn't ask me to be your girlfriend. Like, so until you do that, the playing field is there. Like, I'm playing the game. Like, I'm playing the game. Yeah, one day I was at work and this guy walks into my job. Let me tell y'all about this man. This man walks in, he looks like Method Man. Like, he looks good. Like, I can't even, like, if y'all know who Method Man is, like, get with it and get lost. Like, Method Man looks good. So yeah, everybody wanted to work with him. How it worked at K's when a customer comes in is like, it's kind of like first come first serve with customers. Like, if you don't got a client, then you know, whoever gets the client first gets it. My one coworker had got to him first. So she goes over there to him and she's trying to, you know, work with her customer. So Mr. Method Man, I'm calling Method Man. Mr. Method Man was over there and he was telling her, like, I'm trying to find a watch. But one thing you can tell with customers when you work in jewelry is if they're interested in working with you. Like, you can tell he just didn't, like, she wasn't really selling him on nothing. Like, you know, so sometimes if, you know, unspoken rule, if you can see that somebody's struggling with a customer and you feel like you can close, you know, you give that coworker, like, because we work in commission, so, you know, you don't want to step on nobody's toes, but you kind of want to go over there and, like, hint at your coworker, like, you know, do you need any help with anything? And if you want somebody to come in on a sale with you, you'd be like, oh yeah, like, you know, he's trying to find da-da-da. Or if you don't want somebody coming on a sale with you, you just be like, nah, we good. Anyway, so I come over there to Mr. Method Man and my coworker. She obviously wasn't working her game with him. And I was like, hey, like, you know, you guys doing okay over here? Because I was good at watches. Like, I knew about watches and stuff. And that's what he was looking at. So she was like, yeah, he's looking for a Movado watch. And I was like, ooh, a Movado. Like, you know, I can tell by your style. I'm just selling him. Like, I can tell by your style, you know, really just hyping him up. Like, you know, let me show you our newest Movado watch. Are you like a gold guy, a silver guy? I'm just eating him up. And he's just like I was just feeding his little ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was loving it. I showed him the watch that I wanted him to try. I feel like this story going all over the place. Like, sometimes I be forgetting. I just talk and then I just forget. Like, once I realize that I'm talking, what? You know, in order to sell him the watch, I'm feeding his ego, telling him, like, oh, the watch looks great on you. You know, the color or the tone of the watch, you got a gold watch. I was like, really compliment your skin. Boom, 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 boom. You know, we have a sale going on. And he's just eating it up. So my coworker walks away. She's like, you can have the sale. Like, I'm not really doing nothing to help. I was like, you sure? Like, we could split the sale? She was like, no, you can have it. Like, I couldn't really sell him on it. And she was tired. She wanted to go to lunch anyway. I was like, all right, whatever. So she leaves. Me and him get the goo back and forth. I sell him on a watch. And I'm like, ooh, he look cute. But I was worried about the money, to be honest. I wasn't going to go get his sale because he looked good. I went over there partially because he looked good. But another part was because I just wanted to get the money, get the sale. He was like, yeah, I also wanted to look at some necklaces. I'm like, dang, he got a girl. So we go over to the chocolate diamonds, the Levion diamonds, and I was like, oh, this is my favorite piece if you're like looking for it, like trying to give it to somebody special. He was like, yeah, I am trying to give it to somebody special. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, a man like you seems like he would have a girl. He was like, oh no, I was talking about you. Yeah, so he was like, yeah, you know, maybe, he's like, maybe not now, of course, but you know, if I could, you know, take you out sometime, boo boo boo. I'm like, take me out sometime. Like, at this time, like, when you sell stuff, you ask people questions. So we had already been conversing about stuff. Like, I was learning about him. Mind you, it was like, maybe I could take you out sometime, and I like giggled it off. And so I was like, boy, you on some like, boy, you better stop type stuff. And you know, I obviously knew from how this man looked. Yeah, I was probably like 20 at the time. So like, I knew obviously he was too old for me. Like, he was older. He's an older guy. So I was like, yeah, you know, I laughed it off, checked him out, and he went on by his day. He's like, hopefully I'll see you around. I come to this mall all the time. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So fast forward, I have a date with my boo that night. I go on a date with my boo that night after all of the flirtation that I just had at work. But I'm just giddy, like, oh, I just had a good day. Like, that guy really left an impression on me. But whatever. I go on a date with my toxic bae, and at dinner, he's complaining about his dad. He's like, oh my gosh, you know, because he's in college at the time and he chose to live off campus and stay at home with his peoples, which is fine, no judgment on that. Yeah, he like, my father getting on my nerves, just venting about his dad. Like, I think his dad is like getting on him because his mother was pushing him to stay in the house, but his dad was like, it was none of anybody's business, but he just had some drama with his father, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. He always butted heads with his dad, you know. Besides him venting about his dad and his days, we had a good date. And so he was asking me how my day at work was, and of course I didn't tell him that I was flirting with anybody at work. I was like, yeah, I had a good day at work. I made some good sales, boo boo boo, and we going about our day. Here's where things get juicy, ho. So next day, literally the next day, post date, post flirt manicness, I come into work and there I see Method Man, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Method Man. Method Man is in there before my shift starts. I didn't get into work till like 3. And he was like, oh hey, I was looking for you. And I was like, you was looking for me? You was looking for me? And he's like, yeah, like I really was serious, like I want to take you up on that. Like, he's like, do you want to take me up on that date? I said, you came all the way here to tell me about a date? And he was like, no, I didn't come here specifically for that. I came here because I had to pick up something from I think he said American Eagle or something like that. One thing I do not like about smoking is a cottonmouth. Yeah, so he's persistent. He's asked me out on a date. I'm like, yeah, sure, boo boo, like we go on a date. And yeah, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on a date with Mr. Method Man. He look good, like I look good, like come on, whatever. He's like, okay, let's go on a date this Saturday. I'm like, oh, that's the bad. What is the next step in my makeup routine right now? That's why I haven't done it. I'm looking at all my, okay. And so he was like, okay, like we can meet at blah blah blah. We basically talking the details or whatever. So he takes down my number and it's history from there. So we start texting throughout the next few days, like me and Mr. Method Man, like we just clicking, hitting it off. And it's not like I have never talked to other guys since I talked to Mr. Toxic, because like I said, we toxic. Fast forward to that Saturday, messy old me is on FaceTime with my toxic babe while I'm getting ready to go on a date with Method Man. So I'm on FaceTime with toxic babe, we having a conversation, and he was like, oh wait, you getting ready to go? I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go out with my girls. Lying. Bitch, I'm ready to go out with my future man. Like, you're playing. He's like, oh, okay, like, you know, you had fun. And so he just talking to me while I'm getting ready. Yo, so he tells me, he's like, yeah, I've been out all day because, you know, my mother wanted us to take family pictures. I was like, family pictures? He's like, yeah, like she was trying to, like, I guess we don't take enough pictures, so she wanted to take like some old school, y'all know them old school like Sears pictures, Emma shots looking pictures. She wanted to take some of them as a family. I was like, oh, that's corny, but that's kind of cute. And he was like, yeah, I guess. And I was like, oh, let me see the picture. I bet you look like, you look crazy. And he was like, I guess. And he sends me the picture. Y'all, when I say I spit on my motherfucking drink when I saw that picture, y'all looked at that picture. I looked, I saw my boyfriend, I saw his mother, I saw his little brother, and I saw Method Man. Method motherfucking Man. Smiling hard, right in the center, Method Man. I spit out my drink that I was drinking on that phone. And he was like, what's wrong? Da, da, da. Like, I was like, oh, nothing. Hung up the phone, and that was that. Bitch, I hung up the phone, and I was like, yo. So I knew I had to call Method Man. I called Method Man, and I didn't tell him that I was messing with his son. Like, what, I was like a dummy. I called Method Man and I was like, hey boo. He was like, oh hey, can't wait to see you in a few hours. I was like, oh yeah, I can't make it because my grandmother's fish died. Like, I came up with some excuse, and whatever excuse it was, to this day I don't remember what the excuse was, but I came with some excuse and I said I can't make it. He was like, oh my gosh, really? Like last minute, like da da da. He was like, are you sure you can't make it? I'm like, no, I cannot at all. Like, I'm dating your son. I didn't say that, but I'm like, yeah. Y'all probably like, why have you never met his parents? Because we were a situationship, y'all. Like, we didn't get that far. I didn't care to meet his mama and his daddy. Like, so I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. It's just like, I'll just never speak of this again, and that's that on that. So a week goes by and I haven't heard from Method Man. Of course, I'm still talking to Toxic Boo. And I'm like, my best friend is like, so you just gonna keep talking to him knowing that you was ready to go on a date with his father? I'm like, yeah, like, the fuck? Like, do you not know me? And so, fast forward like a week. I see my toxic boo in the mall. Like from my job, I see my toxic boo, and I was like, oh hey, like I wave him down, and as I'm waving him down, I see him waving back, and then cutting the corner behind him, I see his mother. I'm like, okay, just his mother. Then I see more footsteps coming, and I'm like, oh, I know that watch. Oh, I know those shoes. It's Method Man. So I'm in work, and so I'm waving, right? And Method Man and the boy are waving at me, like, and I'm like, my hand went, I went to the back. So I think Method Man noticed that his son was waving too, and he was like, oh yeah, something's off. So my boo comes in, not Method Man, other boo. My boo comes in there, and I was like, I gotta come out, like I can't hide in the back forever, fuck it, face your demons. I come out there and I hug him, and I'm like, oh hey, how are you, da 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 da. He was like, hey, like I'm here with my parents, you want to meet my parents? And I was like, no, that's not necessary. And he was like, no, I told him come in here. His mother come in there, and his mother's like, oh hi, like you must be his little friend, like, you know how parents be, refer to me as little friend. I was like, yeah. So Method Man just sitting back there like looking dumb as hell, and I'm just playing it cool. I'm like, yeah, like how you? And so he's like, this is my father, da da da. And I was like, I reached my hand out and I waited. I said, sir, you gonna put this motherfucking hand out, you gonna act like we don't fucking know each other. And then he was like, I was like, you know what, let me play this cool. I was like, oh, I've met him before. And I shake his hand. I was like, oh, I've met him before. And he was like, huh? Like he literally out loud said, huh? And I was like, you don't remember I told you that watch. Like we was in here, you was in here like last week. He was like, oh yeah. This is the girl I was telling you about that sold me the watch. And so I was like, oh, you have a beautiful family. One thing I'm good at, and the reason I used to work in jewelry, y'all, I used to have customers all the time that used to come in there with their girlfriend one day and their wife the next. And you just act like, yeah, you just play it off. I was like, yeah, you know, this is a beautiful watch, my favorite piece to sell, like da 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 da, like, yeah, you have a beautiful family. He was like, thank you. So my coworker, she in the back, she know all the tea. I tell her, me and her tell each other everything. So she in the back, and she like, I gotta step in the back, and I can hear her laughing in the back, and I'm like, yo, I can hear her laughing in the back. Yeah, they leave, and you know, my boo texted me after they left. He was like, why was you acting weird? I said, acting weird? I said, I wasn't acting weird. Why was your daddy acting weird? So his father, then Method Man, Mr. Method Man, texts me, yo, I'm not even doing my mother freaking makeup, and I have been in a trance. Like oh my gosh, like I felt like I was on a TV show this whole time. Like I'm gonna tell y'all something. I have a vivid imagination, and this whole time I've been telling this story, I feel like I was in an interview on a TV show, and I was looking into the camera, and I was just in a trance. I was like, hey, let me put on my damn lashes. Fast forward to like the end of my shift, right? I get a phone call, and it's Mr. Method Man, of course, and I'm like, hello, you've reached Taylor's cell phone. You wasn't gonna tell me that you was dating my son? I said, sir, first of all, me and your son, not exclusive. And I told him that me and your son, not exclusive. Second of all, I didn't know I was dating your son. I have never met you. I have never seen a photo of you until recently. I said the real reason I ended that date was because your young bull sent me a family photo of you and your wife and your kids. And one of your kids happens to be a guy that I'm dating. I said, I don't see nothing serious with your son. I said, and secondly, the question you should be asking yourself is, why are you picking up 20-year-olds at a K Jewelers when you have a wife at home? Like, make it make sense. He was like, that's crazy. Like, you're trying to flip this on me. Like, men are just crazy. He's like, you're trying to flip this on me when you were dating my son. I said, sir, you have a wife. You have a wife and children. I said, I, on the other hand, owe no one anything. I am a young woman. I said, I'm not. Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to mess with nobody's husband. Like, I'm not that type of gal. Like, I was like, I don't even mess with nobody's father. I said, as savage as some people might look at that to be, it ain't me. So yeah, so he's yelling on the phone and I hit him with the boop boop boop, hang up, because you're not about to yell at me. Fast forward like 2 weeks later, mind you, I'm still talking to my toxic boo, and he doesn't know anything about anything that happened. I get a text from Mr. Method Man and he's like, oh, let's start all over. The fuck? Sir, what do you mean let's start all over? Start what all over? Start what all over? What I'm about to start is I'm about to sit here and tell your son. And I told him this. I said, you hit my phone again, I'm going to tell your son about everything and ruin your life. I'm ruining your life. Like, I'm not about to sit here and mess with my husband. That is something you don't do. You don't mess with people's marriages. You don't. But boo-boo, don't mess with somebody's marriage. You just don't do it. So he gets mad at me that I basically threatened to tell his wife and his child. To this day, I should have told the wife. Like, I don't respect nobody that want to mess with somebody's husband. Like, all that. Like, if you know somebody got a husband and you choose to continue to mess with them, I'm judging you. I'm judging you. Because you messing with family. Like, especially when people got families and kids and shit. Like, come on now. All these fuck niggas in the world, and you can't pick another one. And I believe in karma. Karma's gonna bite that ass. But yeah, that was the story time on the time I messed with my boo's daddy. And it was by accident. I know y'all probably expected like some sort of revenge story. Like, oh, he was a fuck nigga and I effed your daddy. Like, no. Yeah, for a long time, he didn't know what happened. Let's just say some things came to light. No one was mad at me, thankfully. I gotta do my hair. And then, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Oh, thank you again, Mood, for gifting me and sponsoring this video. And remember that the details to the free Delta gummies are in my description if you want to go get you some free edibles. And also the 20% off coupon is also in the description along with a link to the website. So yeah, make sure that y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I love you guys. Why are my lashes lopsided? Thank you again, Mood, for sponsoring this video. Make sure that y'all use the link in my description to go shop Mood products, as well as using my codes TAYCAKES20 for 20% off the whole website, and TAYCAKESGUMMY for your free Delta 9 gummies, because who don't like free stuff? Come on now. Love y'all.